The big thing is really realizing the potential. So the last panel talked about a lot of the economic growth and the key problems facing our society. Assemblyman Vannell, you are obviously an entrepreneur, an attorney, a community advocate, and you sit on the chair of the Committee for New Technologies in the Assembly. So you have a broad perspective of what we see as the real challenges here. So I was wondering if you could comment and give us your thoughts on what we need to do to ensure that the state of New York benefits fully from AI, and in particular, what challenges you see in addressing these things?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I'd like to really big kudos to this the Rockefeller Institute and to SUNY for putting this together. Now, so I am the chair of the subcommittee for Internet and New Technologies, and what's very interesting, when it comes to making policy and with my other policymakers in this space is the information gap and the apprehension towards technology, the apprehension towards the progress of the future. Some of my members don't use ATM machines. That's funny, but it's scary. It's scary to see how when we speak about the community and the general public's apprehension towards the progress of technology and how it's going to affect the workplace. How is it viewed? Is that challenge viewed as something that is scary, or do we see the opportunity? And as someone that has the bully pulpit, someone that has the opportunity to speak about these things, how do we as policymakers address it? I'm from the greatest corner of the earth, Queens. And in Queens, there was some great news that happened last week. One of the biggest companies in the world is coming to Queens. And they say that they can provide between, on the low end, 25,000 jobs, on the high end, 40,000. Imagine, and that's just the jobs. Imagine the job ecosystem of what's going to go on down in Queens and in New York City and for the state. At the same time, many of my colleagues are pounding their fists on the desk saying, get it out of here. What's the disconnect? Watch out what comes out of our mouths, right? People, as the other panelists said, a lot of people in the community, a lot of people in the out there are afraid that they won't be able to qualify for some of these jobs, or they're only thinking about the high-tech jobs. They don't understand that we are not saying that there are going to be a myriad of the types of jobs that will come in, right? Someone has to, they're from opening up the doors or cleaning the building to programming to high-level management positions. But if we ourselves are looking at it as it being something adverse to us, then that's a problem. But the how? How do we figure out how to prepare New Yorkers for this new, what's going to happen in the future? One of the things I was trying to do is get out of my comfort zone before I could go out and tell other people to do the same. This year, I learned, how many people know how to solve a Rubik's Cube? This year, it took me a long time to figure it out. But I figured it out. And I can do it. It can take me about 2 minutes, maybe 3, until I saw a 15-year-old do it in like 10 seconds, right? But I have in my office, I have a 3D printer where I printed out, where we made a robot that solved the Rubik's Cube with artificial intelligence. I was able to print out the parts of this machine myself, right? Able to have the electronic parts to program how to do that. Now, this machine does it. It takes a little while, but the machine does it. powerful stuff. If you can figure out how to work with the machines, work with the artificial intelligence, as we said before, that's very important. We have to think about this stuff differently. Another thing that's very important, and I'm going to close here, is part of the reason why we're here is that when we make policy, we cannot make policy alone in a silo, right? This is a very powerful institution. We need SUNY to help guide us. We need the industry to help guide us on where we should go. These are the big questions of tomorrow. And policymakers cannot, I'm not smart enough to figure it out by myself. We need academia. We need the private sector to help figure out how to implement these big major technologies and changes in the world moving forward.